Imagine walking into a store in 1975
Okay.
with a crisp
And then
$50
here.
bill in your hand. That single bill, that modest amount of money, could transform your life in ways that seem almost unbelievable today. You could walk out with a week's worth of groceries for your entire family, with change left over. You could fill your car's gas tank multiple times. You could take your sweetheart to dinner and a movie, and still have money jingling in your pocket afterward. $50 in the 70s wasn't pocket change. It was real money, meaningful money. The kind of sum that could solve problems, create opportunities, and make things happen. Fast forward to 2025, and that same $50 barely registers as significant spending power. It might cover a single trip to the grocery store if you're careful. Maybe fill your gas tank once if you're lucky. Perhaps buy dinner for two at a mid-range restaurant without appetizers or dessert. The purchasing power has eroded so dramatically that what once felt substantial now feels almost trivial. But this isn't just a story about inflation, about numbers getting bigger and dollars buying less. It's a story about how fundamentally our economy,
Babe,
our
I got the
society,
tickets.
and our daily lives have transformed over the past 5 decades. The things that $50 could buy in the 70s reveal a world where costs were lower. Yes, but also where priorities were different, where certain luxuries were more accessible while others didn't exist at all, where the relationship between work, money, and lifestyle operated under completely different rules than today. So, let's take a journey back to 1975, armed with nothing but a $50 bill, and discover what incredible things we could acquire, what experiences we could have, what problems we could solve with that amount. And as we go, we'll see not just how much prices have changed, but how much everything else has
Babe,
changed
I got
along
the
with them.
tickets.
Buckle up, because this trip down memory lane might just shock you with how different the world used to be. 10 incredible purchases from the 1970s, a week of groceries for a family of 4. In 1975, $50 at the grocery store was a fortune. You could fill an entire shopping cart, actually multiple carts, with enough food to feed a family of 4 for a full week, possibly longer if you shopped smart. A gallon of milk cost around $1.30. A loaf of bread was about 30 cents.
Chicken,
Ground
49
beef
cents a
was less
kilo.
than $1 per
Ground
pound.
beef,
A
99.
dozen eggs would set you back around 70 cents. You could buy chicken for under 50 cents per pound. Fresh produce was remarkably affordable. Apples and oranges by the bag for just a couple dollars. Canned goods lined your shelves for pennies, soup for 30 cents a can, vegetables for even less. Coffee, even good coffee, was maybe $2 per pound. Sugar, flour, rice, all the staples that form the backbone of home cooking, cost so little that you barely noticed them on your grocery bill. With $50, you weren't making difficult choices. You weren't calculating whether you could afford the fresh vegetables this week or if you'd have to make do with canned. You weren't skipping meat to stay within budget. You weren't buying the cheapest possible version of everything, and still worrying if you'd have enough. You were shopping comfortably, filling your cart with variety, buying snacks for the kids, maybe splurging on a nice roast for Sunday dinner, grabbing ice cream for dessert, and still walking out with change in your pocket. The ritual of grocery shopping was different too. You'd go once a week, maybe twice, and you'd stock up properly because everything was affordable enough to buy in quantity. Your $50 created abundance, a refrigerator and pantry full of possibilities.
49 cents
The
a kilo.
secure feeling of
Ground
knowing
beef,
your family
99.
was fed well for the week ahead. Today, that same $50 at the grocery store is a completely different experience. You're making careful choices, comparing prices, buying smaller quantities, often choosing between items rather than simply taking what you want. A gallon of milk is $4 or $5. Bread is $3 to $5. Ground beef can easily be $6 to $8 per pound. Eggs, when prices are stable, run $3 to $5 per dozen. Fresh produce has become expensive enough that many families struggle to afford it regularly. Your $50 might get you through 3 days if you're careful. Maybe less if you have teenagers. The abundance is gone, replaced by calculation and compromise, and the security of a well-stocked kitchen for a week requires multiple times what it once did. 3 to 4 tanks of gasoline. Gas prices in 1975 were remarkably low by today's standards, averaging around 57 cents per gallon. With $50, you could buy almost 88 gallons of gas. If your car had a typical tank size of around 15 to 20 gallons, you could fill it up 4 or even 5 times with that money. Think about what that meant for mobility and freedom. You could drive to work all month and barely make a dent in that gas budget. Weekend road trips weren't carefully calculated expenses. They were spontaneous adventures because the cost of gas was negligible. $50 worth of gas could take you across multiple states, to visit family hundreds of miles away, to explore new places, all without serious financial planning or sacrifice. The relationship between driving and money was fundamentally different. People didn't calculate whether they could afford to drive somewhere. They just went. Carpooling existed more for social reasons than economic necessity. Taking the scenic route wasn't a luxury. It was just a nice thing to do, because the extra miles didn't translate to meaningful extra cost. Cars consumed more gas then too. 8 to 12 miles per gallon was common. Yet the low gas prices meant it didn't matter as much. Teenagers could afford to drive around aimlessly, cruising, as it was called, just for fun. Because even on a part-time minimum wage job, they could afford the gas. The gas crisis of 1973 and 1974 had caused temporary price spikes and shortages, making people aware of gas prices in new ways. But by 1975, things had stabilized at levels that still seem impossibly low. The psychological freedom that cheap gas provided extended beyond just driving. It meant you could take a job farther from home without worry. It meant you could live in the suburbs and commute to the city affordably. It meant geography was less of a constraint on your life choices. Today, $50 of gas is a completely different calculation. With prices ranging from $3 to $5 per gallon, depending on location and time, your $50 gets you 10 to 17 gallons, barely enough to fill a single tank in most vehicles. That's one fill-up, not 4 or 5. A road trip requires serious budgeting. Daily commutes consume significant portions of household budgets. People actively make life decisions: where to live, where to work, how often to visit family, based on gas costs. The freedom that cheap gas provided has been replaced by constraint and calculation, and $50 worth of gas won't take you nearly as far, literally or figuratively. A complete vinyl record collection. Music lovers in 1975 could build impressive record collections with $50. A brand new vinyl album, a full LP from current artists, cost around $5 to $7. That meant your $50 budget could get you 7 to 10 albums, brand new releases from the biggest names in music. We're talking Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Fleetwood Mac, Elton John, the Eagles, David Bowie, all the artists defining the sound of the 70s. And you could own their latest albums for less than $10 each. If you shopped used record stores, which were plentiful and popular, you could stretch that $50 even further, maybe doubling your haul to 15 or 20 albums. Records weren't disposable. They were treasures. You'd bring them home, carefully remove them from their sleeves, place them on your turntable, drop the needle, and experience the album as the artists intended, from first track to last. Album cover art was substantial, 12 inches square, often elaborate and beautiful, something you'd study while listening. Liner notes provided lyrics, credits, sometimes essays or artwork that enhanced the music. Building a record collection was building a personal library of sound, each album representing an investment in your musical taste and identity. You'd trade records with friends, have listening parties, spend hours just exploring the music you owned. With $50, you were creating a significant collection, enough variety to satisfy different moods, to explore different genres, to have a soundtrack for your life. The economics of music consumption were vastly different. Music was something you bought and owned, not something you rented access to. Artists made money from album sales, which meant album quality mattered, meant they sequenced songs thoughtfully, created cohesive listening experiences, rather than just collections of potential singles. Your $50 directly supported the artists you loved, while giving you permanent access to their work. Today, $50 in music is a different proposition. Physical albums, for those who still buy them, cost $15 to $30 each, meaning your $50 gets you 2 or 3 at most. Vinyl has made a comeback, but at premium prices, often $25 to $40 for new releases. Most people don't buy music at all anymore. They stream it, and $50 would cover several months of a streaming subscription, giving access to millions of songs but ownership of none. The music is rented, temporary, dependent on maintaining the subscription and the songs remaining available on the service. You can't pass your streaming subscription to your kids the way you could pass down your record collection. The relationship with music has shifted from ownership and curation to access and algorithm-driven discovery. And while $50 provides access to far more music than ever possible in the 70s, it provides ownership of none. Multiple movie theater experiences. Going to the movies in 1975 was affordable entertainment that didn't require much planning or budgeting. A movie ticket cost around $2, sometimes less for matinees or at cheaper theaters. With $50, you could go to the movies 25 times. 25 times! Think about that. You could see every major release of the year, multiple times if you loved them. Take friends or dates. Make moviegoing a regular weekly or even twice-weekly habit, all within a $50 budget. Movies in the 70s were event experiences. Films like Jaws, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Rocky, Star Wars, all premiered during this era, defining cinema and culture. Being able to afford to see them in theaters, repeatedly if desired, meant participating in cultural moments as they happened. The movie theater experience was special too. Many theaters were beautiful old buildings with ornate architecture, large single screens, real curtains that would open before the show. You'd buy your ticket from a person in a booth, maybe get popcorn and candy that didn't cost as much as the ticket itself. Find your seat and watch the movie with an audience that had come specifically for that film. Drive-in theaters were still common, offering even cheaper entertainment, often double features where you'd pay per car rather than per person. $50 could cover numerous drive-in visits for the whole family. The economics made movies accessible to everyone. Not a luxury, but a regular form of entertainment that people of all income levels could enjoy frequently. Dating couples could go to movies multiple times per month without strain. Families could make it a regular weekend activity. Movie theaters were community gathering places where you'd see neighbors and friends, where teenagers hung out, where first dates happened, where cultural phenomena were experienced collectively. Today, a movie ticket averages $12 to $15, more for IMAX or 3D screenings, more in major cities. Your $50 gets you 3 or 4 tickets, not 25. Taking a family of 4 to the movies once, with tickets alone, costs more than $50 in many locations. Add concessions, and you're approaching $100 easily. Movies have become occasional treats rather than regular entertainment, something you budget for rather than casually decide to do. The theater experience has improved in some ways. Better sound systems, more comfortable seats, reserved seating. But the accessibility has plummeted. People wait for streaming releases, watch at home, because the cost of theatrical viewing has become prohibitive for frequent visits. $50 worth of movies has shrunk from 25 theatrical experiences to maybe 3 or 4, fundamentally changing how we consume cinema and participate in shared cultural moments. New clothing for the entire season. Fashion in the 70s was affordable in ways that seem impossible today. $50 could outfit you with a complete seasonal wardrobe, multiple pieces of clothing that would cover your needs for months. A pair of jeans, the Levi's that everyone wore, cost around $15. A decent shirt or blouse was maybe $5 to $8. Shoes ranged from $10 to $20 for good quality. Dresses could be found for $15 to $20. You could walk into a department store with your $50 and walk out with several new outfits, mixed and matched pieces that would refresh your entire wardrobe. The quality was often better too. Clothes made to last, with real cotton and wool. Sturdy construction that would survive years of wear and washing. People didn't have closets stuffed with clothes because they didn't need them. A smaller wardrobe of well-made pieces served better than massive collections of disposable fashion. $50 meant you could prepare for a new season properly. Buy a winter coat. Get new shoes when the old ones wore out. Replace worn items without stress. Teenagers could buy their own clothes with money from part-time jobs, developing their own style without relying on parents for fashion budgets. The relationship between clothing and money was straightforward. You needed clothes, you bought them, they lasted, and the cost was manageable enough not to be a major household expense. Shopping for clothes was a regular activity but not a constant one. You'd go a few times a year, get what you needed, and be set. Sales and bargain shopping could stretch that $50 even further. Clearance racks offered quality items at deep discounts. Sewing your own clothes was still common, and fabric was cheap enough that making your own wardrobe was genuinely economical, not just a hobby. Today, $50 in clothing is a fraction of what it once was. A single pair of quality jeans costs $70 to $100 or more. A decent shirt is $30 to $50. Shoes start at $50 and go up rapidly. You might get 1 or 2 items with $50, not a complete seasonal wardrobe. Fast fashion has emerged partly in response to this, offering cheaper clothing but at lower quality. Items that fall apart after a season, creating a cycle of constant replacement rather than long-term wear. The economics have forced a choice between cheap disposable clothing and expensive quality pieces, with the comfortable middle ground that existed in the 70s largely disappeared. If you want to stick around soon, like and share the video with your friends and acquaintances so we can grow our YouTube community, and I can recommend this channel even more. Don't miss the second part of this video, which is fantastic. Until next time.